Let's go, Masters Men, underway. Your 40-plus field on course.
Top three for our Category 3 to the podium area, please. Top three Category 3 riders to the podium. Our last race lasting 40 minutes. This race will be a total of 40 minutes. We start by time, 40 minutes. We calculate how long it's taken them to do the first 2, 3, 4 laps. Then we switch over to lap cards, and then we count them down. That way the riders know exactly how long it is to the finish. They will end after 40 minutes of racing. This is the completion of lap number 2, and check it out, 10 seconds faster than what they did in the Category 3s.
Brian Hill right in the front for the Meteor Squad. You're going to see a lot of these pink jerseys on the front. I think you're also going to see a lot of this Texas Roadhouse team, the red and black jerseys getting up there. So we are starting to see some team tactics in this group as our Masters men hit the course. Getting ready for our Category 3 podium. Good look at the front of the field if you're watching on the live stream or the big screens. It's JP Brockett in the pink jersey up there for the Meteor Squad. Get used to seeing that jersey. I think you're going to see a lot of it throughout this Masters race today. It's got Mark Tucker right on his wheel, the Velo Kings racing team. Coming out of California, a lot of riders making the trip from out of state to come race here at Tulsa Tough. The level of competition is really unmatched anywhere else in the country, and that's what brings riders from all over the U.S. Front of the group, roll it back through. This is still JP Brockett setting tempo on the front. Brockett trying to string these guys out. I have a feeling that's going to be a lot of the story tonight, just watching these big teams drive on the front. If you've got the numbers, one of the ways to use them is just by trying to make this race as hard as possible. So what you do is keep fresh legs on the front. Once Brockett gets tired, he'll send another teammate for that Meteor Squad up to the front just to see how many riders he can get rid of out of this group. They're going to try to make this a race of attrition at Tulsa tonight.
Brockett doing a pretty good job of keeping that pace high because it's not like it's bunched up right behind him. Normally you'll have like a bubble, a little bit of a sweet spot, sitting about 10 positions back, but that pace so high right now in our Masters race, that bubble is not forming until about 30 to 40 riders back. A lot of riders, look at that single file, tire to tire, following each other, trying to be able to stay in that slipstream. I got to give it The rider sitting in that second position, he's in a dreamland position. Sitting in, saving about 30% of his energy, just following the wheels in front of him. And that is going to be Gary Zera from ETP Cycling sitting in third.
These guys haven't changed positions inside the top 5 for now 2 laps. As Brockett about to make his way back through the line, leading another one in your Masters 40 Plus Cat 1-2 race. And I think a lot of riders are probably happy to just let Brockett set the tempo on the front again. The rider at the front of this bike race is doing more work than anyone else. He's creating a draft for all the other guys behind him. So that's why these guys are so happy to sit right behind JP Brockett until you start to see moves from riders like Marco Olivier making a move on the front here for the Texas Roadhouse squad. And it looks like Olivier going to pull the plug on any moves off the front, but he did get Brockett off the front here and now starting to cause a little confusion up there. Next time we roll through, going to bring up $100 courtesy of the St. Francis Tulsa Tough Volunteers. Another awesome way to support the race here. If you're looking to help out, you want to get involved, we're always looking for more folks on the St. Francis Tulsa Tough Volunteer Squad. Big thank you to all the volunteers out there as we get ready to ring up $100 next time through. Frankie's going to find someone to ring the bell, and then once they hear that bell, they're sprinting next time. Looks like a couple guys going to have a little bit of space headed into this one. Not much, though. Yeah, we'll ring it for these guys. We're going to go a full race, $100 cash preem. Attention riders, $100 cash preem. 100 cash riders, $100 cash preem to the winner of the next lap. $100 cash, $100 cash preem on the line. 100 cash next time through, full race, $100 cash. Two guys slipping away onto the backside. A $1 million question here is going to be, are these guys looking at the preem, or is there a bigger strategy at play for riders getting away here? Ideally, these two guys would cooperate here, but with a preem on the line, you put $100 out there, well, that cooperation often goes out the window. So we'll see if anyone's going to jump out of this group of two. Looks like Texas Roadhouse on the front, trying to keep this Methods to Winning rider at bay. Eric Anderson, the Methods to Winning rider out of California, on the back.
Very early on in the race, but these guys are going to put a little bit extra effort trying to be able to hold them off to be able to pick up that $100. Cooperation thrown out the window. A big thank you to Bicycles of Tulsa, bringing many of our $100 preems to all the different categories throughout the night.
All right, so we'll see if these guys are going to sprint it out. $100 on the line between the two of them. First guy across is taking it. Is he going to try and pick the pocket? That'll be the last preem we ring for those two. About as much fun as watching paint dry up there.
Eric Anderson picking up that. Methods to Winning out of California. Talked about him, 47 years old. Two riders, 6-second gap. 6-second riders, 6-second gap. Two riders up the road. Chad Bertzelauskas making it into that group along with Eric Anderson. Bertzelauskas out of Indiana, former road professional, very good sprinter. He was excited to be able to come back to Tulsa, and right now finds himself in the front. He's not afraid to be able to race. Now the question is the rider in the red jersey pulling? Right now, I have only seen the neon jersey of Eric Anderson on the front. I have not seen Chad Bertzelauskas come to the front yet.
Bertzelauskas was doing a little bit of work early on. I think these guys are starting to come to an agreement. They're figuring out how they can best cooperate to be as smooth as possible, because that's the name of the game here in this breakaway. This is a very unique scenario in sport where now these two guys who should be opponents in this race now have to work together. So these might as well be two teammates in the breakaway now, at least for the next 30, 40 minutes.
Take a look at that big screen. You're going to see that field spread out all across the road. Time gap definitely going up. They have not come around the final turn yet. Now they come around the final turn. So the gap is, they're at the first turn. They're coming around the final turn. That is going to be about a 15-second gap. Two riders up the road, time gap 15 seconds. Now we have a different attack coming up the road. Launching, trying to be able to bring them back. Drew Christopher out of Oklahoma.
So these guys saw what happened in that Category 3 race. They know that breakaways can be very dangerous on this Friday night course, and so I think the field is taking this group of two very seriously. Two super strong riders in this breakaway, talking about Anderson and Bertzelauskas. So now everybody wants to be in on the action because they're seeing that this is a winning move, but there are a lot of riders trying to get across the gap here. You have to be careful to make sure this breakaway doesn't get too big. I think these guys want to stay away. Watch next time they come through. The cooperation in this breakaway is impeccable. These guys have it dialed in the front group of two. What you're seeing is these guys taking turns, leading one another, while the other guy drafts off the other one. You're going to save about, like Frankie said, 30% of your energy just by sitting on one other rider. So you take turns saving that 30% or doing the extra 30%, depending on how you look at it. And then you'll see guys flick their elbow on the front. That's telling the rider behind him, hey, it's your turn to come to the front. You've got to do that extra 30%. So these guys are switching about every 30 seconds. You'll see a change in leadership in that front group of two as they are cooperating very, very well. That's why these four guys are then going to try and join them, because they like what they see up the road. So two leaders sending out an RSVP, and now four riders trying to get in on the party up the road.
So our two leaders coming through. One thing to keep in mind is look at this second group. There's a teammate sitting right in there. He's not letting them go. He's not pulling through as well. And a fantastic job what they call blocking. Steven Salazar from Texas Roadhouse shutting down that second group of four. In the meantime, Cat 3's top three to the podium. Return to the podium. Cat 3, Del Rosso. Was it four? Duran and Wyant, return to the podium, please. So that was a big difference, is being able to have Salazar in that second group. It shut the entire chase down, and our two leaders have been able to increase. These guys continue to be able to talk with each other. They're communicating. Right now, a little glance over the shoulder. Two riders now about to expand to three.
Yeah, Salazar did everything he could to try to keep that chase at bay for his teammate Chad Bertzelauskas up in this group. Now third rider going to join them, but not a whole lot of time separating this group. So.
Sorry, Brad, I think that's Emil Abraham going across. Former national champion of Trinidad and Tobago and American national champion as well. And now Bertzelauskas is able to respond, but a glance over the shoulder, they realize they have been reabsorbed. The entire field has caught them. It's a reshuffling of the deck.
Now Emil Abraham going to try and drive this one on the front. He is super strong. He can make these long, sustained efforts on the front. And again, he's just trying to make this race as tough as possible to see who's left when this race wraps up in about 25 minutes from now.
Early on in the race, we saw the pink jerseys of Meteor Racing controlling things. Will they try to be able to do the same? But now, the attacks have only instigated a flurry. Nobody's willing to wait around for anyone, as right now, that's going to be Randall Coxworth. That's Monster Racing Team going up the road, and look at this group. They have sat up. The last 2 laps have been very, very hard, very, very fast, and so everybody trying to be able to take a breather, trying to be able to catch their breath, and now's the opportunity for the counterattack.
Getting down to it here as these guys racing 40 minutes on the clock. We are just ticking past 15 elapsed time so far. And these guys all trying to figure out if this Masters race is going to go the way of the Cat 3s, where we saw Austin Del Rosso launch his successful solo breakaway. But now it looks like we're going to have a group of 4 rolling off the front, maybe 5. One rider just dangling in the gap here. We're going to make one more call for Diego Ryan to the podium. Final call, Diego Ryan to the podium, please. We're going to be counting laps next time these guys come through your Masters field on course. We'll see 13 laps to go. So we are now moving off the clock. That is no longer relevant. These guys are down to a straight 13 laps of racing remaining.
Look at the field spread out across the road. I think a lot of the riders, they have teammates up in the front. Not a lot of concern coming from them. 6 riders have separated themselves right now. Clock is ticking. We're going to start counting them down. That is over a 10-second gap. Lap cards are up, riders. 13 laps to go. 13 laps to go. 13. That's a 10-second gap. 6 riders up the road. 13 laps to go. 13 laps to go. You know, Brad, we saw the pink jerseys very aggressive in the beginning of the race, but right now, there are no pink jerseys in that front group. 6 riders now with a big gap, all working very well together.
Well, Frankie's headed out on to course with the bell. That can mean only one thing. There must be a preem coming up. Looks like Frankie's got a ringer. That means we can award a $100 cash preem next time through, courtesy of St. Francis. Well, I should say we'll ring it next time through. We're going to award it the lap after that. This will be interesting in this front group because this group is big enough that there might be one guy who's willing to break rank. A lot of times in this scenario, you'll see the riders in the breakaway just agree to split the money. They'll all meet in the parking lot afterwards. If there's 5 guys, they'll all take home $20 because the guys in the breakaway want to try and win this bike race too. But not everyone agrees all the time, and so sometimes you'll have 4 guys that agree to split the money and 1 guy that's like, no thanks, I'll take the whole $100 myself. So we're going to see if there are any greedy riders in this front group next time through, as we're going to bring up $100 cash, and this will be full race. Attention riders, $100 cash preem next time through. $100 cash preem, 100 cash. Gentlemen, $100 cash, $100 cash on the line. $100 cash preem to the winner of the next lap. And this is full race. Leaders are eligible. 100 cash, full race, 100 cash to the winner of the next lap. This $100 courtesy of St. Francis, throwing out some money to our Masters 40-plus field out there. All right, so Frankie, 6 guys in the break. What do you think the chances are that they split this one evenly?
I think it's a little bit too many guys to be able to make a deal like that. So I think we're going to see a little bit of a sprint trying, especially with 12 laps to go, right? You could do a sprint and recover for the end of the race. So we should see a competitive sprint trying to be able to pick up this $100. They have a pretty good gap on the rest of the field as well as they try to increase their lead. When they come through, it's going to be 12 laps to go, but the field's starting to respond. This race is far from over. A lot of laps to go, a lot of racing to go as we're waiting for the Bicycles of Tulsa. $100 on the line as they fly around that final turn.
Front group still together. We'll see if anyone jumps. Oh, they're going to race for it. A little bit of money on the line. $100 to the first guy across. They'll go to the line together, and he picked his pocket. $458. Got it done. It's never over till it's over. Nice pickup for Mark Tucker out of the breakaway coming out of California. That's how you win a sprint. Patience is key. And if you go too early on this uphill finish tonight in Tulsa, you're going to have a bad time at the finish. That guy just learned as Mark Tucker picked his pocket. All right, looks like we are just about ready to go with our Category 3 podium. So let's put some riders up on the blocks. We begin with third place tonight. First up to the podium, let's say congratulations to your bronze medalist, Aiden Wyant. Second place next to the podium, big round of applause for Diego Duran. And your race winner, a solo ride off the front tonight. Give it up for the one and only Austin Del Rosso. There you go, your men's Category 3 podium, Del Rosso, Duran, and Wyant.
Final piece to the puzzle as Del Rosso zips up the jersey as your day number 1 winner.
Look at this, little more than a preem split here is now this breakaway starting to fall apart at the seams. One guy going to try and roll it here, the last remaining rider out of that original group.
That was our preem winner coming through there, Mark Tucker. He took the preem and kept going, and now the field, a lot of tactics going on. Look at them, they're strung out. 2 hot laps has made it a single file. Riders trying to be able to catch their breath as they get ready for the last part of this bike race.
We saw Drew Christopher moving up, a former pro. Now, remember, this is a Masters 1-2 race, which means every guy in this race technically would be eligible to race in our pro races later tonight because they have one of the top 2 levels of license. But they're choosing to race with their age category, and so these guys all 40 years of age or older and hold a Category 1 or 2 racing license. Front of the group rolling back through, looks like Tucker just dangling off the front, but staying on it. Mark Tucker staying on the gas here as the chasers make their way through the line, showing 9 to go on the lap counter here. 9 laps to go, riders, 9 to go. We're going to get that group 1 to go. You guys will sprint it out next time through. Now, you're going to start seeing the officials here giving riders 1 to go instead of straight polling them. What they're doing is giving groups a chance to sprint so that those 3 guys aren't just placed in a random order. If you are polled, you still get placed. And so giving those guys 1 to go gives them a chance to sort out those places. It's going to be something like 52nd, 53rd, and 54th place, but that matters. Every place matters to a bike racer.
Mark Tucker was away by himself, but now he's been reeled back in. But look at the damage being done in the group. Single file right now as they came through with 8 laps to go. Racing has picked up, the heat pouring down. Temperatures right now 85 degrees here in Tulsa as these riders are trying to be able to get around day number 1 of notorious St. Francis Tulsa Tough. First race we saw a breakaway, 1 rider going away for 25 laps. Now we're with 8 laps to go and 2 riders trying to do the exact same thing.
All right, here we go. Lap counter taking us down to 7. These guys trying to figure out whether this is worth continuing to invest in or not, because this is a crucial time in the race. Here at 7 laps to go, Fred Corpus from the Paperboy squad out of Colorado getting to the front, taking a little look around here at 7 laps to go on the counter. All right, so a bunch of riders rolling through the line right now. These guys were involved in a crash on that last lap. Now, they'll get what's called a free lap here. Up until 6 laps to go in the bike race, if you go down in a crash, you're allowed to go back to the pit, get your bike and body fixed up, and then those guys will be able to go back into the race without being scored a lap down. We call it the free lap rule. It also applies to mechanicals that are beyond the control of the riders. So if you get a flat tire, broken chain, something like that in a race like this, those riders will be able to go into the pit, which is just around turn number 1. You get 1 lap to get your bike and body serviced, and then the next time the race comes around, the officials will reinsert those riders into the race. Frankie, you could not have asked for a better time. If you're going to have a crash, 7 laps to go is the place to do it, because it's 6 laps to go, no more free laps. So if you have a crash inside the last 6 laps, you're out of luck. But if it happens at 7 laps to go, those guys will be able to hit the pit and get back into this race on par with everyone else.
Yeah, and right now we're getting ready to tell all of these riders that free laps are over as they are getting ready to see 6 laps to go. A little bit of a split in the group right now. Got to be able to react to it. Riders, 6 laps to go. No more free laps. Free laps are over. 6 laps to go. Free laps are over, 6 laps to go. All the back and forth, the yin and yang that's been taking place out in the race course, now getting reabsorbed with 6 laps to go. Oh my gosh, riders getting thrown out of the pit right now extremely late. They are going to be off the back. Maybe they held them, trying to be able to give them another chance. Going to be able to find out once they come around. Yeah, maybe I'll do a break. They're going to throw them out with 5 laps to go. Maybe they kicked it out.
Especially if this was a process, I would go even further back. Just that it'll kill me if I run this one for 8 hours.
75 riders on the start line, and right now it's coming down. The fight for position as Texas Roadhouse and those orange jerseys are trying to be able to be at the front. Sneaking up on the inside in that green jersey, taking a flyer. That is going to be Carl Bourdin. Bourdin, a time trial former national champion. I talked about many of these riders, former national champions, former professionals. That's what Carl Bourdin is, and the riders chasing him as well. They are getting ready to see 5 laps to go, and Texas Roadhouse on the front. They're not panicking, are they? Just riding their own tempo, keeping it together, and making sure they have numbers, which is going to be the difference in the later part. We're going to do, hold on.
All right, riders rolling through here at 5 laps to go. Let's hurry up another free. Make it 100 cash. Riders 100 cash to the winner of the next lap. Full race, guys, 100 cash. Full race, 100 cash. Leader is eligible at 5 laps to go. Full race as now Texas Roadhouse lining it up here at 5 to go.
Texas Roadhouse with a couple good sprinters on there. Chad Berzelowski is a very good sprinter. Marco Aladia, also a good sprinter. So right now, what they are doing is the same colored jerseys are coming to the front. They are going to sacrifice 2 of their riders to keep the pace high, try to be able to chase to bring back the 1 leader. As long as somebody with the same colored jersey crosses that line first, that's what they're thinking about, and so they're willing to sacrifice certain riders on the team in order to try to have that chance for victory.
Well, this is pro-level racing from this Texas Roadhouse squad. Now, remember, these guys aren't in any hurry to catch this solo rider off the front. In fact, a lot of times you'll see them put a rider like this on a leash and leave him out there to roast for another 2 or 3 laps. Now, why would you leave that guy away? Because it's the devil you know versus the devil you don't. Would you rather have a tired solo guy out there, or do you make the catch right now and open the door to a new set of fresh riders getting away? So they're going to wait, I think, to make this catch. That's the right move. This is Bike Racing 301 right now. We are getting into some advanced tactics for this Texas Roadhouse team on the front, and I think that's what they're going to do here. Just let this guy roast as long as you can, make the catch at 1 or 2 laps to go, and then try to control this race until the end. Now, you control it by riding just as fast as you can so that everyone is riding on the limit and no one's got any headroom to try to get away. Now, it doesn't always work out for the big teams. Every once in a while, a guy like this can catch him off guard, and that's exactly what Carl Bourdin is hoping he can do tonight.
Bourdin picking up that $100 preem from Bicycles of Tulsa. So for Texas Roadhouse, they have to keep the pace high. The moment the team in the orange-colored jerseys, if they slow down at all, you're going to have riders coming right around them and attacking. We talked about the former time trial national champion, Bourdin, right now trying to be able to increase that gap. The problem is it's 1 rider of Carl going against 5 riders from the same team. Texas Roadhouse working very well together to not allow this gap to grow. If there are other sprinters in this group, we're definitely going to find out about them in just a little bit. Attacks right now starting to be able to come on the outside. They don't want to let Texas Roadhouse do the controlling for the final laps right now as riders battling for position right behind the orange and black jerseys. One rider we forgot to mention on Texas Roadhouse, Rasan Bahati, is in here also. He is a very fast sprinter. A former Criterium national champion, Bahati. That's who they're trying to be able to set it up. And if you got Berdzalauskas, Aledia, Hill, some of the other riders on their team trying to be able to do a lead out, this is looking better and better, especially the fewer laps we get to the finish.
Well, now what you're going to start to see are these Texas Roadhouse riders dropping out off the front. The lead guys at the front of this race are doing everything they can. They are now into full 100% effort here, and just like booster rockets taking a satellite into space, they are going to fall away as they run out of gas here. So start to watch for these red and black jerseys at the front of the race, but watch the guys at the back too. Like, this is Brian Hill right here. Mission accomplished for that guy right there, number 430. He did his work, and now he turns it over to the next guys. One guy will go all in on the front, and he's going to blow up. And then ideally, you drop your one sprinter off out of that last corner. Use your last booster rocket to deliver that guy into the final sprint at 1 lap to go. So still plenty of time here. They saw 3 as they went through the line, but now you're going to start to see those Texas Roadhouse guys on the front fall away, and that is the plan. Everything going according to plan for that squad on the front of the field right now.
That one rider we were talking about, be able to watch, Rasan Bahati, that former Criterium national champion. He's got the neon green wheels, so keep an eye on that. The neon green wheels in the orange and black kit. Rider in the blue jersey doing a fantastic job trying to be able to attack right over the top of these guys, slotting into 4th position. But in the meantime, Texas Roadhouse, the team working together, a cohesive unit, trying to be able to pull off victory. 3 laps to go.
I don't think there's any question that Rasan Bahati is going to be the best sprinter in this group, as they're going to see 2 laps to go. Now, Bahati is being shepherded to the front by his guys. It's like the Secret Service guiding the president wherever he wants to go. And Bahati will be giving instructions to these guys on the front. He's the quarterback out there right now, and he's really just talking to his linebackers. He's talking to the O-line right now, telling them faster, slower, watch the guys on the left. I want to be further right. So he's driving his group, because now they're about to get some competition at the front of this race at 2 laps to go.
Come on, Tulsa, make some noise. It's 2 to go. Berdzalauskas on the front, suffering on the wheel, barely able to hold the wheel. That is going to be Andrew Messer. This is where things are going to get crazy, because you have to keep the speed at about 28 miles an hour. They are going to start trying to be able to swarm. The fight for position is on.
Yeah, so at this point, everybody's trying to get behind that Texas Roadhouse train. That's the hottest real estate in Tulsa, Oklahoma right now. But the problem is there's 40 guys fighting for 1 spot. The best place to be in this bike race is right behind Rasan Bahati right now, because any bike racer can look at this scenario and they'll know exactly what Texas Roadhouse is doing here. So now the fight is on behind this Texas Roadhouse train, and they've got to try and defend that spot. So you'll see one guy, I think, probably behind Bahati. We call that a sweeper. He's just there to protect the best spot in this bike race, which is right behind their sprinter Rasan Bahati here. Well, this one has gone perfectly so far for Texas Roadhouse, but remember, it's not how you do for the first 27 laps, it's how you do on the last one. And so there are going to be a lot of guys waiting to pounce here as we'll get ready to ring these guys up for 1 lap to go as they come through. Texas Roadhouse starting to lose control on the front. Now new teams coming forward. The battle is on in the Masters field. Oh, look at this. Beautiful takeover from these guys on the front, taking us down to 1 lap to go. All of a sudden, Texas Roadhouse is no longer in charge at 1 lap to go. There's a new boss in town on the front of the field as Chris DeMarchi takes over.
What's up?
DeMarchi got 2 with him. Berdzalauskas in the mix. This one going to turn into a chaotic final lap with 2 teams battling for control at the front of the field.
Sitting in the back in that Stars and Stripes jersey, waiting for him to be able to make a move. I don't know if he can move up, is Sharon Smith, your current Masters Criterium national champion, but too far back in the final lap. Texas Roadhouse with Berdzalauskas comes back up to the front. looking to see where Rasan Bahati is, and right behind, different jerseys, it's the green jerseys. Look at them in a perfect position. 3 riders getting ready for the lead out.
These guys are all over the place on the front. They are fighting for this position. The elbows are out. Bertzalauskas still leading it out, but look where his nearest teammate is. I don't know if he realizes how far separated he is from Rasan Bahati in 5th spot now.
Look at the stripes on those jerseys in the green. Those 2 riders, former national champions. Bertzalauskas now trying to be able to lead it out. There's Bahati on the right-hand side. He's trying to be able to go from a long ways out. I think it's Alidia on his wheel. So here they come. All eyes on the final corner.
Texas Roadhouse going to take back over control at the front as Bahati looking to drop off Marco Alidia now. This will be Bahati leading it out of the final corner. He is done. Alidia will launch the sprint against what I think is NGCA. And Emil Abraham gets it done. Sprints out of the group up the right side and comes along and steals the win from the 2 big teams fighting on the front. Unofficially, Marco Alidia going to hold on for 2nd, but Emil Abraham getting it done out of Georgia here at Tulsa Tough.